Hello again and welcome. My name is Shelley Tierhark, and I am a former teacher, volleyball coach, and athletic director at AHS. And I am also a member of the Wall of Fame committee. And I want to take time to thank everybody here coming tonight. This is a great time to celebrate and honor the induction of some of our great Algona Bulldogs here tonight. Before we get started, I would like to take just a minute to thank all of those people that have helped make this Wall of Fame possible. Your efforts are very much appreciated, everyone. First off, we have our induction committee, who is remaining anonymous. We have the actual Wall of Fame committee, and those are the people who put in Monday or early morning meetings to get this event organized and get it ready to roll. Feel free to reach out. Are any of those people here Wall of Fame committee people? Would you stand up, be recognized? There's 2 or 3 over there. All right, thank you very much for your efforts. I personally would like to thank Brian Connick. Brian is the chair of our committee. However, he had another commitment here this weekend. He just had twin grandsons, and his wife said, "I'm going to Kansas to see my grandchildren. You can either come or stay. You decide." And so he wanted to go see those grandsons, but I know he would have loved to have been here to meet all of you as well. So thanks a lot, Brian, in that area. Our custodial staff, I appreciate your efforts helping us get this set up. Adam Orban over at the PAC, they helped with that. Our lovely cheerleaders for meeting and greeting and helping out here today. And then Mrs. Mindy Spear is going to be here later to help with photography, and our own AHS broadcasting department here streaming. So thank you guys for helping out with that. The hope of our committee is that the Wall of Fame can continue to serve as a way to not only recognize greatness in the area of athletics at AHS and beyond, but also to serve as an inspiration for our current student athletes. There's something very powerful knowing that someone from our school has accomplished so much. The message is certainly that, if them, why not me? I believe that this message is something that resonates with our student body. And with our great wall here, kids see that every day, multiple times a day. Tonight, we are going to induct 2 teams that have achieved greatness at AHS. We are so honored to welcome you as the 2022 class of the Algona High School Wall of Fame. Inductees, please come forward when the presenter calls your name. Audience, feel free to take pictures, move around if you need to get a better angle, have at it. At this time, I would like to introduce the 1964 boys basketball team. Members of this team consisted of managers Dave Hanselman, come on forward here to my left, Clay Mowers, team members Milton Butsky, Steve Hardy, Keith Seeley, Alan Creed, Dale Teeter, Sig Wood, now that we started it with 2, I guess we'll have to keep doing this, but maybe next time we'll keep the applause till the end. No, that's all right. Brian Espy, Rick Sloan, Ken Eagle, Gary Naylor, and Larry Helmers. 23-3 record, including a conference championship and a third place finish at the state tournament, which at that time was an 8-team tournament, all classes represented in one. Unfortunately, they were defeated by Fort Dodge in the opening round. No. Okay. An 8-team tournament, including all classes, where they defeated Fort Dodge. Defeated Fort Dodge in the opening round before falling to Cedar Rapids Jefferson in the semifinals. The Bulldogs, though, would bounce back strong against Dubuque Waller to claim the third place trophy. Congratulations. Please help me welcome the Algona High School Wall of Fame team, the 1964 boys basketball team. Here comes the flag. We will also take pictures after this. Yeah, after our ceremony, we can take other pictures, so everybody can take their turn holding it maybe, I don't know, right? All right, guys. Before I turn it over to our next speaker, you want to say something, Coach?
Go Bulldogs. Okay, I just want to make a couple comments. I'm really disappointed that Howie Stevenson isn't here. Howie was a phenomenal basketball coach. He took a number of teams to the state tournament. I was fortunate enough as a sophomore to be with this group. 2 years later, my class made it to the Elite 8 of the state tournament, and it was still a one-class system. And we all take great pride in the fact that when we look at today's, well, they have about 7 different levels, and we started with 600 teams and narrowed it down to 8 to get to the tournament, and for us to get third was a phenomenal thing. And we were fortunate that we had great coaches and great facilities here in Oklahoma. So, thank you for being here today. It's a fun day for all of us.
I just want to mention a couple things. When you talk about a team, this was a team. There's no question about that. I'll give you one example. We played Pocahontas Catholic, who may have been the best team in the state. They had Butch Bittner, who became a major league pitcher for the Cubs and the Reds. And they had this Hudak kid that hit 38 points against us. And I fouled out in the middle of the third quarter. Brian fouled out shortly thereafter, and Bruce fouled out after that.
No. Stayed around for the whole game.
Oh,
Trust me.
Hardy?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, Larry, Gary, Rick, Bruce, and Dale finished the game while we were over there crying away. And what he said in the paper the next week was, Bulldogs 91, the greatest game ever.
But yeah, no, I didn't fall out. The only one I followed out. I'll let you know that. Yeah, no. And Sig said the best thing. It was a true team because nobody cared who scored as long as we did. And everybody rebounded, everybody played defense. We had great subs. This guy down here by the name of Mr. Christie spent a lot of hours with me when I was a sophomore and junior, teaching me how to play inside and shoot a hook shot and do those types of things. And so we did have a lot of fun.
The scores that we had when we went to Fort Dodge, when we went to Des Moines, we were ranked very well, and the first game was against Fort Dodge, much higher than us. Second game, Cedar Rapids, Jefferson brought in an ex-Marine, and he pushed all of our big kids all over the place. And we got beat. I mean, we deserved to get beat, but it was, and again, an upper-class school. And then we came back and beat the Duke Wallace, and they were the largest school in the state at that time. So we had an awesome run. It was a great year, and we just have so many memories. And like I said, it was a team effort, and we're still close together at this time. 50-some years later, we're still close together. We're still friends. We're still communicating with each other. Great team, Coach Christie. We appreciate everything he did, and it's a great honor for what you've done tonight for us.
The last game that we were playing, we got this guy running around all over the floor, telling everybody to smile, have a good time, have fun. We're going to have fun here tonight. And we did.
These people represented you and our high school and our community as gentlemen, students, and they are absolutely wonderful to work with. We love them.
One of the best recognitions we got after everything was sort of over was on our way home on Sunday morning. Coaches took us to a local church in Des Moines, and the people there were floored that a bunch of jocks would show up at church service, but Holly and Keith got us there. It was really a neat thing to have happen.
Dale, talk about St. Joe.
Oh yeah, when we were coming back, we got to St. Joe, and there were cars all the way down. Whatever down, how many miles is that? 10 miles. Why did you say that? But anyway, we had this great number of people leading us into town. It was a phenomenal experience for all of us. Thank you much, though.
Thank you for sharing your stories. That was a lot of fun. All right, at this time, I'd like Brad Heitland to come up, and Brad will do the honors of introducing our next team.
It's my pleasure tonight to introduce the second team for the Wall of Fame, the 1993 Boys Track Squad. And what I would like to do is I'd like to call these individuals up, and then I just have a few words I'd like to say about this group of gentlemen. Okay, the 1993 State Championship track team consisted of Carl Omdahl. Come on up, Carl. coaches. Jason Bradley. Landon Freeberg. Ross Sandman. And I know this other individual is not able to be with us tonight. He lives in El Paso, Texas. Jason Gray. I'd also like to have come forward our manager, Jim Madsen. Assistant coach Dave Rizonki. And assistant coach Alan Barrenwald. It's really a pleasure to be up here tonight to introduce these gentlemen, and I would also like to make note of the fact of the other individuals that were part of our 93 track that were not participants in the state track meet, were an integral part of our season that year. One of the things that just, I still, this didn't happen, did it? I'm really, it's amazing. We won a state championship. Those are hard to come by. Those are really hard to come by. You have to have everything fall right. You have to have a little luck. You have to have a lot of talent, but everything has to fall just right. And that year it did. And as I look back at that season, I can honestly say I had no expectation going down to the state track meet that year and winning a state title. These guys had an expectation that they were going to win a state title. I didn't know, because I knew how many things had to go right, and they did. And when I look back at that, this is our only state title in track in the school history, and we've had some pretty good track teams, but these guys are the ones that got her done. During that particular time down in Des Moines, it was a 2-day meet. People that follow track here now, it was a different situation back in '93. A lot more points are scored in the track meet now because they score 8 places. They can run 4 events. There's a lot of things that have changed, but these individuals were able to get it done. I'd like to talk just briefly about some of the accomplishments and about a couple individuals here. We won 4 events during that 2-day meet and placed in 1 other event to win the championship. Derek Frank led off our scoring on Friday with a 5th place finish in the 3,200 meter run, and Brian White was a member of that as well. We then came back that afternoon, I believe it was on Friday, and won the medley relay. That relay was consisted of Landon Freeberg, Carl Aldahl, Jason Bradley, and Mark Sundin. We also set a state meet record that year. And one of the magazines that came out after the spring was over, Runner's World, I believe it was Runner's World, had us in the top 6. We were the 6th place fastest time in the nation during that year, at that particular time when that publication was printed. The other thing that happened on that Friday was we had to run a prelims in the 4x4, and we had to run prelims in the 400 meter dash. And Jason came out, he was still pretty excited about a state championship in the medley, and qualified 6th. So that means the next day he had to come back and be in lane 7 for the 400 meter dash. And then the 4x4 had to come back after that medley, those runners, and some of them were in that too, they qualified for Saturday in the 4x4, and they were able to get that done. So Saturday brought more success that year. We got individual titles and set school records from Jason Bradley in the 400-meter dash and Mark Sun at the 1600-meter relay. Jason came out of lane 7, and won that event, and he was the fastest time in the whole state. The fastest time in the whole state, all classes. Mark came back on Saturday and won the 1600-meter run. Mark was the fastest in the state in all classes that year. The afternoon was capped off with a win in the 4x400-meter relay, which consists of Carl Aldahl, Jason Gray, Mark Sundit, and Jason Bradley. And we had to finish first. And we held off Paul Western Christian by 11/100ths of a second to win the event in the state championship. And we beat Mount Pleasant for that title. Now, if I have repeated anything wrong, that was 30 years ago. Remember, it's 30 years ago. These guys did something that I still marvel at because I know how hard it is. And when somebody was in that position, and I talked to a number of coaches that won a state title, I always told them, cherish it. You never know if it's going to happen again. You never know if it's going to happen again. 3 individuals I'd like to mention that are up here, besides the ones that have already been announced. Jim Madsen was our manager. Jim was a freshman that year. Jim was my manager, or our manager, excuse me, in track for 4 years. He was my manager in football for 4 years. He needs to be in the Hall of Fame for putting up with me. I don't think there's anybody that will not say that that young man is an outstanding young man and an individual. Then there's Mr. Ozaki. Mr. Ozaki helped coach the sprints, did an outstanding job for us, stayed with me for a few years longer. He's already up there, or he should be up there for putting up with me as well. But the thing about Dave, you know, when he was honored last year, I introduced him and said a lot of nice things about him. Everybody thinks he's a great motivator. I'm going to tell you one quick story about Mr. Ozaki. This was after you guys had graduated. We went over to Clear Lake one night. Clear Lake usually had their meet about the second week in April. It was ugly outside. It was cold. It was windy. And I'm standing in the front of the bus, and I'm giving my kids the best pep talk I can. Guys, it's going to be rough out there tonight. Guys, it's going to be cold. Other people are going to complain. We're going to weather through it. I mean, I was doing everything I could to get them off the bus. And I had it done. And all of a sudden, I made the stupid mistake of saying, does anybody have any questions? All of a sudden, from the front of the bus, can I time from the bus tonight? Lost it right there. Everything I said. And the last individual, Mr. Barrenwald.
Morning.
Morning. I worked with this guy for many years in track, and I worked with him for many years in football. These gentlemen up here, I think they appreciate all the things that he did for our track program, and I also appreciate everything he did in our football program as well. But in our track program, we couldn't have had a better assistant in regards to his knowledge of the sport of track and field. And Arlen, everybody else went to track clinics to gain knowledge. I had the ability to have Arlen Barrenwald coaching with me, and he was a track clinic every time I talked to him of the knowledge that I got and the things that he taught me about the sport of track and field. So I I think he needs a good round, a well round of applause for all the things he did. In closing, you know, I think as I look back that these young men kind of started something. They were the ones that got things going for us. We won 2 conference championships prior to '93. Arlen had one of them in 1980, I believe. Correct, Arlen? 1980. But 2 years after that, we really, I think the sport of track and field really took off because of what these guys did in '93. One of the things we always hear, well, they won a state title without an all-weather track. Well, these guys came back from that state meet. I believe it came back from state meet, but ran a baton back from Humboldt to Algona as a fundraiser for the new track that we got shortly after that time. But the thing, I guess, that I look at, if you look at the history of the North Central Conference, after that period of time, we won 16 conference titles, 16. We finished second once in the state meet, third once in the state meet, and I can't remember if that's right or if I've got some correction to do. But I think it all started with this group of gentlemen up here. And since 1993 to the present, Algona has won 14 conference track titles, and everybody else in the conference has only won 12 total. And I think that is why things like this are important. We want to remember those people who started the push to make a sport important and relevant, and kids wanting to get involved with it in the school. So I appreciate these guys. It's great to come back and see some of these gentlemen again. I called them up and let them know that we were going to be honored tonight. A couple of them said, huh? What are you calling for? And then once I told them, you know, I think they were thrilled to be here. And I think you can see it's important for them. The 2 people who are not here had commitments that couldn't be here. Otherwise, everybody's here. And I think that shows how important it is to them. Thank you, gentlemen. Like I told other people, you cherish it because you don't know if it's ever happened again. But you know what? You guys, for everybody involved here, we did it once. We did it once. Thank you.
If you look closely in that wall of fame picture of your track team, and this is for Mr. Heitland, who hired me 18 years ago. Mr. Heitland is wearing a Nike zip-up jacket. Those jackets were reinvented about a year ago. They call them retro. The same jackets are being remade. So Mr. Heitland just was ahead of his time. If anyone would like to say a thing or two, I'm going to hand the mic to anyone that would like to.
I got one thing I want to say. Well, besides thank you to all of the coaches. Without you guys, obviously, wouldn't have happened. All the time, all the commitment, and the dedication that you had for all of us. But the one thing that sticks out to me for that year is it was 1993, and that was the year of the flood. And we were, not only did we have a low-lying track, but it was made of cinders back then. And we were flooded out of the track basically the entire year. And so what we did was go down to housing development in you guys that live in town still know, right? Tees Park? Don Tees Park. Don Tees Park, everybody knows where that is, right? Because there weren't very many houses down there yet, and so the coaches would go down there and measure and mark out distances and put down cones, and we would use 90-degree turns around the corners and run on cement. And then we took that and won a state title, and now look at the facilities they have. So that's the thing that sticks out about this one for me.
Thank you, gentlemen. We are actively seeking nominations for next year's class to this Wall of Fame, and you can get the application or information in the program at tonight's game, or you can stop and pick up a paper form at the Central Administration Office anytime during school hours. Again, it's been my privilege to be part of this introduction here tonight. Thank you so much for being here and making this a great night to be a Bulldog. If the Wall of Fame people would meet here with the plaque, we'll like to take some pictures right here, right under the pictures. Is that right, Noel? Okay, that applies, I think. Following pictures then, Mr. Teeter will be leading a tour of our facilities, and for anyone who is interested. We would also welcome you to join us at the tailgate supper tonight for the home football game. And
5:30 to 7.
5:30 to 7, so pretty good timing here. And then we'll conclude our festivities this evening by having you meet on the track at the start of halftime. Mr.
Come down, 3 minutes left.
Just a minute, I'm getting there. Mr. McLaughlin will meet you at the track with 3 minutes remaining in the second quarter. So everybody went down that way.
Not even just email me, that's how I was supposed to do that.
Well, Mr. Highland and Mr. McLaughlin will meet you there to help you onto the track. All right, thanks again, everyone. Have a great night.